Here are a few of the strangest things that celebrities have done. Number 10. Charles Barkley. On and off the court, Barkley ignited controversy with his unique mix of trash talking and physical play. After his Olympics year, the outspoken basketball player starred in a Nike commercial in which he unapologetically declared, "I'm not a role model." As if to prove that point, Barkley committed a costly foul in Scottsdale, Arizona on New Year's Eve 2008. Police officers pulled over a car that had just run a red light and found Barkley in the driver's seat. The former gold medal Olympian, now employed by TNT, was driving with a blood alcohol level of 0.149%, nearly twice the state's legal limit of 0.08%. Barkley pleaded guilty to 2 misdemeanor charges related to the DUI and a separate charge of running a red light. As punishment, the former bad boy of the NBA was forced to spend 5 days in jail and pay a $2,000 fine. The NBA star turned television commentator apologized for the incident and took full responsibility. He said that getting a DUI was unacceptable and that people need to think before they get behind the wheel when they've been drinking. Number 9. Bill Murray. If you didn't know, Murray has a weed story for the ages. The famed comedian was once a pre-med student at Regis University, a Catholic college in Denver, Colorado. On September 21st, 1970, he was preparing to board a flight to Denver from Chicago. As he waited in line, he decided to crack the worst joke of his career. He told a fellow passenger he had 2 bombs in his suitcase. A ticket agent who overheard Murray's comment quickly alerted authorities. Minutes later, 2 U.S. Marshals searched his bags. They didn't find any bombs. Instead, they discovered 5 bricks of marijuana weighing 10 pounds, an amount worth about $20,000. As the agents went through his luggage, Murray swallowed a check from one of his customers. Since this was Murray's first offense, he avoided jail time, but the judge placed him on 5 years probation. After the story made the front page of the Chicago Tribune newspaper, Murray decided to abandon his pre-med studies, a decision his fans are eternally grateful for. Number 8. ASAP Rocky. Rakim Mayers, better known as ASAP Rocky, is an American hip-hop artist from Harlem. His work earned him nominations for various music awards. The Swedes have an entirely different opinion of ASAP Rocky. While on tour in Sweden, ASAP and his entourage got in a scuffle with 2 men in Stockholm. As tempers flared, Rocky threw a punch. 3 days later, Swedish authorities placed him under arrest. ASAP spent weeks in a Swedish prison. At this time, the rapper claimed self-defense, that he was the victim of systematic racism and that his jail cell was in deplorable conditions, a claim the prison governor promptly rejected. His detention became the center of an international incident when President Donald Trump, spurred by Rocky's friend Kanye West, petitioned the Swedish government for the rapper's immediate release. The Swedish authorities were still not moved. In fact, they proceeded with formally charging the singer with assault based on CCTV footage of the incident. Rocky entered a plea of not guilty on July 30th and went on to trial on August 1st. On August 2nd, Swedish authorities released the rapper from custody despite concerns that he might flee the country. On August 14th, 2019, 6 weeks after the scuffle, ASAP Rocky was found guilty and given a suspended sentence. Number 7. Matthew McConaughey. McConaughey is a versatile and talented actor. He's also a pretty good bongo player, but has some strange traditions when playing the drums. In 1999, the world took a peek at the actor's preferred drumming attire, nothing. In his memoir, Green Lights, McConaughey recounted how 2 Austin police officers barged into his house, wrestled him to the floor, and handcuffed him. The reason for the arrest? Disturbing the peace. Earlier that evening, McConaughey decided to smoke a little weed. While high as a kite, he thought it would be a good idea to open the windows of his home, crank up the volume of his stereo, and play the bongos naked. Even as the police officers tried to arrest him, McConaughey refused to get dressed, keeping in line with the Texas Capitol's unofficial motto, "Keep Austin Weird." Number 6. John Daly. Daly is a golfer with a career as inconsistent as his personal behavior. His power and distance off the tee earned him the nickname of Long John, becoming the first PGA Tour player to average over 300 yards per drive over an entire season. On and off the greens, Daly exhibited some erratic behavior. At the Australian PGA Championship in 2002, he tossed his putter into a pond after finishing his round, refused to sign his scorecard, and verbally abused an official. 6 years later, he smashed a fan's camera against a tree in a fit of rage. In a tournament in Memphis, Tennessee, Daly showed up with cuts on his face. The night before, he argued with his fourth wife, an argument that ended with her chasing him with a steak knife. Daly's vices included substance abuse, alcohol, drugs, and Diet Coke, which he claimed he drank 500 gallons of per year. He was also addicted to gambling. According to one estimate, Daly lost $3 million per year for 17 straight years to gambling. After being arrested for public intoxication outside a Hooters restaurant in Winston-Salem in 2008, Daly tried to turn his life around. He stopped drinking and lost over 100 pounds thanks to lap band surgery. Unfortunately, in September of 2020, doctors diagnosed him with bladder cancer. Daly recommitted himself to improving his lifestyle, including giving up smoking and Diet Coke. Find out more about John's crazy life with this video here. Number 5. The Bachelorette. Hannah Brown was an interior designer and a former Miss Alabama when she starred in season 15 of The Bachelorette. At 24 years old, the youngest bachelorette in the show's history was looking for love and commitment. Instead, she got humiliated. One of the male contestants, Jed Wyatt, a singer-songwriter from Sevierville, Tennessee, decided to join the show despite having a girlfriend who he told to wait for him. According to Jed's girlfriend, a woman named Haley, he only went on the show to promote his music. He assured her they'd be back together after filming. There was only one hitch with the plan. Jed won the contest and got engaged to Hannah Brown. But when Hannah read about the double cross in a People magazine report, she ended the engagement and broke up with the two-timing singer. Jed tried apologizing on stage, professing he still loved her, but Hannah wasn't buying it. Later, she said she didn't need a husband, she only wanted a husband, but not one who leads a double life. Number 4. Kanye West. Kanye needs no introduction. As a professional performer, he knows how to work a crowd. But at a 2014 concert in Sydney, Australia, he made a real boneheaded move. He asked everyone to stand for his song, The Good Life, and he meant everyone. When he spotted two audience members who didn't get on their feet, he interrupted the song and refused to continue the show until they stood. Kanye taunted the pair, saying he couldn't do the song unless everyone was standing up. He added that having a handicap was a good enough excuse, but then he went back on that sentiment. Kanye grew impatient as he continued to wait. As some among the crowd started to jeer and boo, an exasperated Kanye said it was the longest he'd ever had to wait to do a song. He was in disbelief that some people wouldn't stand up. By now, some of the audience members standing near the sitting couple tried to gesture to West that the two fans he targeted could not stand. One was in a wheelchair, the other had a prosthetic limb, which he proceeded to remove and wave in the air. Kanye realized what he did, said, "Okay, you fine," and continued his set. Number 3. Justin Bieber. Teenagers make poor choices. Famous teenagers with lots of money, like Bieber, make even worse choices. In January of 2014, Miami police pulled over a yellow Lamborghini drag racing through a residential neighborhood. The Lambo was going twice the speed limit in a 30-mile-per-hour zone. The driver of the Lamborghini was an intoxicated minor who wasn't cooperating with the officer's instructions. The then 19-year-old superstar, Justin Bieber. Bieber was belligerent and clearly impaired. His eyes were bloodshot, his face flushed, and his breath smelled of alcohol. When he failed a field sobriety test, Miami police officers arrested the singer on charges of drunk driving, driving without a valid license, and resisting arrest. Bieber later admitted to having consumed alcohol, marijuana, and prescription drugs. This was Bieber's first arrest, though Los Angeles County Sheriff deputies had previously investigated him for felony vandalism on suspicion he egged his neighbor's home, causing $20,000 in damages. That's a lot of eggs. His California neighbors also reported that Bieber had a habit of racing sports cars through their ritzy neighborhood. After Bieber's arrest, over 250,000 Americans signed a petition to have him deported to Canada, a motion the Obama administration declined to address. Number 2. Kim Basinger. Basinger stunned movie audiences in the 1980s, playing opposite Mickey Rourke in the steamy, erotic romance 9.5 Weeks. The sultry actress shocked the world again in 1989 when she bought her own town. Basinger shelled out $20 million to buy the town of Brazelton in her home state of Georgia, some 40 miles northeast of Atlanta. She saw it as a unique investment opportunity. The actress envisioned turning the town into an attraction, building a theme park, or opening a movie studio. We'll bet that 100% of investment professionals would advise against dumping most of your net worth into any investment, let alone one that involves buying a town and reviving it. Unfortunately for Kim Basinger, nothing panned out. If few years later, she filed for bankruptcy. Her financial problems continued when a movie studio sued her for pulling out of a motion picture deal after a verbal commitment. Basinger eventually sold her stake in Brazelton, but the town seems to be doing well without her. According to census figures, the population of Brazelton grew from 7,500 in 2010 to almost 12,000 in 2018. Number 1. DAMMY KRANE. He's not a household name in the US just yet, but Oyendamola Johnson Emmanuel, who's more widely known as DAMMY KRANE, is a Nigerian singer who seemed destined for greatness at a young age. He scored a major record contract with Hypertech Digital at 20 years old, and soon after, his hit song My Dear brought him international recognition. But his road to fame and fortune hit a major speed bump on June 2nd, 2017, when Miami-Dade police officers arrested the young singer at the Opa-locka Executive Airport. Florida prosecutors charged the Nigerian national with 9 felony charges, including grand theft, credit card fraud, and identity fraud. Do we need to say that this isn't a good look for someone from Nigeria with their reputation? According to a police report provided to the New York Times, a charter airline company named TAP Jets contacted authorities when the singer stiffed them. KRANE and his partner booked one of the company's jets for a flight from Florida to Washington, D.C., a trip with a $10,000 price tag with a fake credit card. When asked for alternative forms of payment, KRANE provided 2 more counterfeit credit cards. When agents arrested him at the airport, they found 7 more fake credit cards in his possession. Perhaps this is a case of hanging out with the wrong crowd? KRANE's partner was out on bond for a previous arrest involving fraudulent credit cards. KRANE apologized to his fans for the incident, but maintained his innocence. In a Twitter post, he wrote about how his life is all about his music, and he's sorry he got caught up in this mess. Click here to watch one of these next videos. And let us know in the comment section, would you rather have to date Jada Pinkett Smith and deal with Will Smith, or have to date Kim Kardashian and have to deal with Kanye?